No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. And today I'm bringing you guys one of the crazier stories I heard in my time doing this. We got BFD on the podcast coming straight out of Sacramento.
Yes, sir.
And I got to actually thank my man Moose for recommending this. He tapped in with me and told me that this would be a good one. I started doing my research. Yeah, it's definitely a crazy story, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Shout out Moose.
Yeah, he's a good dude
for sure. And introduce your friend here.
This is my brother and business partner, Insane.
Okay,
Stockton, California. He does everything with me. When I was in the pen, that's how I locked up with him. I locked in with him when I was in the pen. Nobody else was really messing with me.
Oh, okay.
Right? And so, except this brother right here, he's been a icon in Stockton, homeboy rap. Since the 90s, he had a group called Mental Illness, you know what I'm saying? And so I knew he knew all the ins and outs, tapped in with him, and everything was lovely ever since.
You guys do the No Paperwork podcast
That's
together?
Right, brother, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we started calling it No Paperwork. My boy Jay King started calling No Paperwork as a play on y'all.
Oh,
you know
nice.
what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, because all that stuff was happening with Brick Baby.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And everybody was getting wrapped up with y'all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, that was a weird little error right there. Yeah, a lot of people were very salty with us.
Oh, my mom, but it's still playing out right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just, everything that's going on with the deal you're supposed to get or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, we've been paying attention to it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But before we got into the podcast game, we were like, oh, man, Adam, the narrative was Adam was the feds, Vlad was the feds.
Right.
But then you get in the podcast game, right? And we're trying to, not have incriminate themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then we end up having to cut whole episodes sometimes because it's just like, bro, what are you doing? You know what I mean? So we kind of got the understanding of what you go through.
I mean, but it's probably a lot different when you're really from the streets. Whereas I have a little bit of maneuverability, and so does Vlad, because we're not from a specific neighborhood or whatever. So people look at us a different way. Whereas I feel like if you're really from the soil, then people are going to hold you to a different standard.
But you can ask all the questions you want. It's how you answer it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's the difference. And sometimes people say something, they're not supposed to. And we've noticed okay, we get it. Right. You know what I mean? Being podcasters now, we get it.
Because I had to deal with this crazy the other day because there's this dude Shooter from out here who just did a couple years, and he was basically charged with shooting this rapper that we know, and then also allegedly breaking into T Grizzly's house and robbing him. And this beat the charges, but he is out here just talking about it, doing almost nothing to communicate the fact that he did it. For sure he did it.
We try not to speak on too much black politics, but we've been seeing what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I actually listen to T Grizzly a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's how that dude with Tupac's murder got wrapped up, right? He was talking about
TPD, yeah.
He wrote a book and then did a bunch of interviews.
Yeah.
And it just,
it backfired on him.
Yeah.
And he thought he beat the system because he signed that little deal, but bro, you can't beat the system.
That's not how that shit works.
Right.
Yeah.
Nah, definitely.
Shit works.
If they want you, they're going to get you.
Yeah, definitely.
So our point was people really got to be conscious of it, but we take the extra step of ensuring that if you come over here, you with us, that we're going to make sure you don't have no issues when you leave here. You're going to leave with the same legal status that you came with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Especially when you're dealing with dudes who, let's be real, some dudes are just kind of burnt out. They've been locked up for a long time, or they just don't know how the internet works, or they get geeked up on the podcast and they start just saying shit that they're not supposed to say. And so, you got to at least kind of give them a little bit of leeway. Hey, if you want, you can hit me up afterwards if you feel because people don't get it, but we do that a lot. We're also live a good amount, but when we're not live, if somebody will tap in afterwards and say yo,
hey, can you cut that out?
Yeah, just little things,
we try to do that too, right?
Definitely.
We tell everybody ahead of time, man, if there's anything that you say that you want to get cut out afterwards, we have no problem doing it. But once it's out, it's out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's it.
I feel like thus far we've been pretty well on it. You know what I'm saying? But it's also a sign of the evolving culture, because coming up, essentially the convict code was permeated on the street, obviously, right? That's how hood started, and that's all that stuff. But it used to be we ain't doing no interviews, we ain't doing none of that. All that shit is police shit, you know what I'm saying? And now it's evolving to where if you're gonna do music, you have to incorporate content, you know what I'm saying? So that opened all these lanes, all these different kind of lanes, to where people could a good example is that Asian chick from Sac. She worked for PBS. She was on The View, Lisa Ling.
Okay.
Right, her sister got kidnapped, taken to North Korea years ago.
Yeah.
Right, and so she came to New Folsom when I was in New Folsom, and everybody just stopped. Nobody would engage with her. She was coming to doors and trying to talk to people. She did this whole little documentary series, and just nobody except for one group of people. I ain't gonna throw them under the bus, but one group of people did, and they became ridiculed, and like people was like, "Damn, you really?" Even a lot of their own people was looking at them like, "Damn, like what you talking to this chick for? You know what I'm saying? What's wrong with you?" And then when the thing came up, they didn't actually say anything wrong, like anything that would incriminate themselves or anybody else.
Yeah.
They just acknowledged the culture of oppression and prison and just how things was going. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. So now that's changing, and now podcasting generally has affected a lot of it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that change.
I mean, it's crazy because like you got to give it to them. The Mexicans are like the number one group of people that don't really let you know too much about their politics. Like most of what I know is from reading books and shit, or like having to like find people who are dropouts that'll kind of fill people in about how stuff works. But a lot of black dudes come in here and tell you everything you want to know about how the shit works from their neighborhood or whatever. And but realistically,
even those books, so you got to be careful.
Yeah,
they're not.
Sure.
There's a lot of
lies, outright lies, and that's a lot of what we do is try to combat those lies, right? And like there's a stigma associated with being solid. That means you're still participating in criminal activities and doing that kind of stuff or something like that, and that's not necessarily the case. Obviously, you get these dudes that do all kinds of different, and they still solid, they still active, we still recognize them, they still cool where they're at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they don't gotta do all that. They don't gotta tuck off, do all that extra shit that a dropout would have to do. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of times, if them weirdos drop out at an early age, and they tucked off for so long, all they're doing is just regurgitating rumors that they heard. So a lot of that is like the game telephone. You know what I'm saying? Where they just, okay, well, it turned into this. It started like this, and it turns into something completely different. Then when you ask the source, it's like, okay, no, that's not how that shit happened.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Definitely. But there's just like such an appetite from like normal people that they want to know how shit works,
right?
Especially in prison and stuff like that. Yeah. Definitely. But okay, like let's get into your story a little bit, because you're from Sacramento.
Yes, sir.
And give us a little bit about what your childhood was like before you got fully wrapped up in the streets and everything.
Man, standard issue, you know what I'm saying? Broken home, very poor, mom a drug addict type shit, and she's sober now. I'm really proud of her. She's been in a program, and she's doing real good now. But at the time, she was we was all basically we was living that life, brother. And I came up in that in North Sacramento area, and and that led to a bunch of stuff happening in and out of juvenile hall, and then ended up in prison for murder robbery.
No father figure around, really?
Yeah, I mean, he was there. He wasn't participatory too much, you know what I'm saying? But he's dead now. But I ain't gonna talk bad about him on here. But yeah, he was not like he was not prevalent.
Right.
Yeah.
Did your mom was she able to do much to like keep you away from the streets, or was she like in the know enough to like kind of warn you about what you might face outside the house?
She was in the know, and she would do the standard why you hang around these dudes? But at the same time, she was living a life where she appreciated us having us around, having us around sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. So when would you say you officially like jumped off the porch?
12.
12?
12, yeah.
Okay. And that was just hanging out with the older guys and everything like that?
I got arrested. I got arrested when I was 12 for burglary.
Mm-hmm. So do you have like a specific memory of when somebody kind of even put you on what it was to like go take something from somebody, or because it seems like that's kind of what got you in most of your criminal situations?
I'll say who put me on was me. I robbed my next door neighbor when I was about 6 months before that. And he was a friend of mine. You know what I'm saying? And they was gone, and their door was open. Their back doors. It was a sliding glass door. We lived in apartments. You know what I mean? And I went and took a bunch of his shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
What'd you get?
To be honest, I stole a bunch of music. I stole a bunch of videos. I was a little kid, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. And then they sweated me about it, but couldn't do nothing about it. And so, and then a couple months later, I got arrested for burglary.
Damn. Okay. So
not from another incident.
Right. Okay. But so then by the time you get, because you caught your case at 16.
Mm-hmm. Well, 16, the crime happened at 16. I ended up going at 17.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it was a robbery that turned into a murder, basically.
Mm-hmm.
What are you able to say about how that went down all these years later?
Just that right there. You know what I'm saying? Just it was a robbery that turned into a murder.
Mm. And you were with how many different people when it happened?
A few, bro. A few, yeah.
Okay. And it took a while before they came and got you, you're saying?
Yeah, it took about a month. Yeah, about a month. It happened at Christmas, like the day before Christmas Eve, and then I got arrested January 9th, 1997.
Damn, okay. And so you knew they were coming, or like did
that day. Oh, so yeah, I went to go. My brother Lil Man loaned me a Damu Riders tape at the time, right?
That was the one.
It was a Damu Riders tape. I went to take it back, and his stepdad had told me that his probation and homicide had snatched him up. So I jumped on a light rail, and I freaked out for a minute. To be honest, I was a kid, you know what I mean? I freaked out for a little bit, smoked some weed, calmed down, called a couple other people. No one was responsive, you know what I mean? And I was the last one to end up actually getting arrested.
Damn, okay. And so you had a bunch of co-defendants?
I did, yeah.
And I'm guessing they didn't keep it too solid?
One did.
One did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's no good no more, so I don't, I ain't gonna mention his name.
For unrelated
Unrelated,
stuff?
Yeah, unrelated.
Okay. And so how long did you have to fight this charge? Like,
man, we was fighting for almost 4 years, huh? We was fighting, almost 4 years, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. And wait, but so they're not supposed to be able to charge you with, like, you're not supposed to be able to do a grown man sentence when you get caught up when you're 16, right?
Right. So at the time, they used to have what was called the 707 hearings, and there were fitness hearings, right? But my personal fitness hearing, everybody's different. They look at all kinds of different factors based on size, crimes prior, just all kinds of different little pieces, right, of the individual, right? But it was all bullshit anyways, right? But those technically were the little pieces they had to put together in order to determine whether or not a juvenile could be tried as an adult.
Okay.
Right. So I was a little bigger for my size, right? I boxed, and I had just gotten out for a battery.
But they can actually use your size against you?
Yeah.
Like, so you're more of an adult because you're taller?
No, you won't just be a victim. You won't, right? So it's just determine if you could program in an adult facility and not just be an immediate victim type shit.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So this is before the brain science and the development of child brains, you know what I'm saying?
Right, because this is what, late 90s you said?
Yeah, 97.
97,
yeah.
Okay.
So I had just caught a case in Davis. I had punched this dude, right, and hurt him real bad, and threw a bottle at his face, and after he was already fell out, and so they whacked me for that, right? But I was charged as a juvenile. But when I ended up getting my 707, that's all they talked about. That's all they talked about in a 707 hearing, was he just got out of jail for a battery on an adult, on a football player at Davis. Yeah. So, but you already knew enough to know that you weren't supposed to talk to the cops, or did you fuck up at all? Like when they were initially questioning you and everything? No, everything was good. Okay. Everything was good. You knew enough to like get a lawyer, or were you even like in the financial situation to get a lawyer? No, I was not in a financial situation to get a lawyer at all. So you had to deal with the court-appointed lawyer. But his name was Mr. Lismar, John Lismar, and he actually helped me get out of prison. Oh, okay. Yep, 20-something years later. Long live this guy, because I understand he passed away, right? He passed away, that's right. Damn, okay. So you're basically just waiting around for trial for 4 years. And you're going from a 17-year-old to a 21-year-old. I was in juvenile hall for a few months. Okay. And then when I turned 18, I got sent to county jail. Okay. And what was that experience like? Was that just a lot crazier than the juvenile hall, I'm assuming? Crazier? I don't know if it was crazier. It was because juvenile hall and SAC was turned up. You know what I'm saying, at the time, but juvenile hall was definitely less thinking than county jail was, for sure.
So you make it to the county, and now all of a sudden you just got to learn a lot more about all the different types of people up there.
Yep. It went from where if I got a problem with Adam, I could just get down with Adam and it's not really an issue, to if I got a problem with Adam, we got to consider all kind of variables. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
And so everybody's on the red team in Sacramento County Jail at that time?
From my understanding, it's not like LA. It's like in ours, in the east side, it's Bloods and homies. On the west side, it's Southerners and Crips.
Okay.
You know?
And so even back then, the cops were aware of this dynamic, and they would kind of keep y'all separate, or what?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. But we're still getting access to them. You know, we still did our thing over there, but there's not a lot of them in our county jail. Right. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
It's not like here.
Okay, so you're fighting that for 4 years, and throughout that time, like what was your mentality? Would you say that you were someone who was, you know, were you distraught? Were you upset about this, or were you just more having to deal with the day-to-day difficulties of surviving in this environment? Like, did you have hope for your life?
About it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, like, of course. Yeah. Yeah, like, of course. What
I'm saying is, like, some people I've talked to, like, when they kind of feel like jail is an inevitability, and that this is not such an overwhelmingly depressing situation, because a lot of people, that's kind of like they didn't necessarily have hope for their life prior to that. Like, were you someone who was looking forward to living a normal life, or were you somebody who kind of always felt like you might end up in prison?
No, I was definitely ready for that. I was definitely ready. Knew it was a probability. Yeah, definitely 100%. And when I got there, the comfortability, I had a friend who he later became my friend, and he lived in the hole, right? He lived in the hole up there, and he was him talking to him, when kind of like it created an acceptance that I didn't have prior. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just realizing, like, okay, this is what it is. It's not the end of the world.
Don't
sit
on no fence. Don't sit on no fence. It's already, you just got to figure it out right now. Your role that you're going to play while you're here.
Damn. Okay. All right. And so then, what were they offering you?
12-year snitch deal.
Okay.
That was it.
And even as a young man,
yeah, or get life, yeah.
You had no interest?
No.
Didn't even consider it?
No, I didn't even consider it. But I'm gonna tell you something. So we actually talked about this before. I tried to fire my attorney 12 times, even though I really liked him as like a human, right? I told him, don't offer me no snitch deal, right? Because I'm gonna try to fire you, right? And so at first, I tried to file a Marsden motion, like an actual paper Marsden motion to fire him. But ultimately, it turned into 12 Marsden motions, right? And my thinking was because I seen hard ass tell, right? Like killers, right? Because they weren't accusing me of killing nobody. I wouldn't testify against my co-defendant, right? So that was the felony murder rule at the time, was if you participate in a crime where somebody dies, even if they slip on a banana peel, you get the same time he gets. So even if you're a kid, none of that matters once you pass that 707 hearing, right? So, I just told him don't even ask me about it. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know what you're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? You don't until that moment. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, every time he did, I just try to fire him, and it just became more of a, just so I could just keep my word, right? Just so he knew every time if I tell him something, I'm gonna do it. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I filed 12 verbal Marsden motions where they clear the courtroom, and I try to fire him, and the judge gets tired of it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, stop doing this. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And when you finally go to trial, what was your best case scenario? That you could beat the whole thing, or were you just trying to get like a favorably low sentence?
I ultimately, if you're guilty of the underlying crime, you're guilty of the murder at the time. Right. So all they had to do was convict you of a robbery. You know what I'm saying? So none of that afterwards matters. You know what I'm saying? And I had a co-defendant who was done, so I was convicted.
Yeah.
It was pretty cut and dry.
So they just smoked you in trial?
They smoked me in trial, bro. 16-month trial. I got smoked.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And what's going through your head as you hear the verdict?
Bro, I ain't gonna lie. Most people won't say that, but like I was crying. I cried, definitely. You know what I'm saying? And it was like you know what I'm saying? Straight up. That's what it was. It was.
Yeah. I mean, to put in perspective, like you were locked up from 97 to 2021.
Yeah. 2020. Before I hit the pen, late 2020, I think like October, November.
Like for me, that is me starting junior high to COVID. Which is like, so basically like, and that's also when I first had my first kid. So that's like my whole adult life.
Yeah.
And more, which is like, just to put it in perspective like that. I mean, that's just like such a punishing sentence, especially given that you were 16 when you did it.
Right. So, but from trial to sentencing was even different transition. You become like, all right, this is happening. Everything else, you know what I'm saying? This is what I'm doing. I cut relationships off. I was ready to just, my whole thing was going to be prison. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad I did that shit, for real.
Crazy. I got to ask this. Had you ever got some pussy before you got the sentence?
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Okay.
That's actually how I met a lot of my co-defendants.
But you probably were around dudes who never got any before they got locked up for these crazy sentences, and you hear about that shit and how like they don't even know what they're really missing out on, which is crazy.
100%, brother. 100%. It's horrible. But it's because it, you know, I don't know, like I miss something until I have it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So being off is all they know. That's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you get in there. So they just send you like a crazy ass prison from the beginning, or like what was life like once you got the sentence?
High Desert at the time was kind of crazy. I went to Tracy, my reception was Tracy, DVI at the time. It was all right. Okay. And then I was there for like 2 weeks. Shout out to High Desert, Sea Yard, and that was crazy. It was enlightening for sure.
Definitely. Well, were you like, what was your mentality? Are you just thinking like, I got to just be the dude if I want to survive in this shit? I got to be willing to do everything in front of me.
I'm not gonna lie. My mentality was try to be the hardest dude, right? But in SAC at the time, what the hardest dude meant had a different aura. Like at the time, this is the late 90s. I mean, this is early 2000s. So how we got down was way different than any other really Mexican anything. We said nigga, we said blood, we sagged, we did everything before anybody was really doing it. It was really just the Bay dudes and SAC doing it, right? That's just 100% truth. And so when I went in there, I maintained that and had this idea that nobody's gonna change me. None of this shit's gonna change me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna turn up and be like an exaggerated version of what I was already doing. And county was rocking and rolling. I knew I had these. I was all right those. So yeah. When I got to prison, I was like, I'm with whatever. I'm with the whole cha-cha. You know what I'm saying? Now I got a wake-up call, right? So I was something happened with and the homies pulled me aside and really had a good conversation with me. You know what I'm saying? It was like, pull up your pants, homie. Tie your shoes. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna walk around here like that. We gonna let you know you're not, all that shit is out.
So this is like nobody's bigger than the program, pretty much.
In the program, that's it, homie.
So like basically like your culture, like you just needed this like reminder of like, hey, your culture, how you and your homies have been moving around on the outside, that shit don't really matter, because in here, if you want to survive, you're gonna have to really like just fit in with the status quo.
Yep. And it was a goofy ass situation that, and having ended up doing, like, myself even 5 years forward would have recognized that you're just a, you know what I'm saying, you're an idiot. And that's really how I felt. Like every time I think about the situation, I'll be like, damn, like if I'd have just did the very basics of what these brothers were telling me, you know what I'm saying, that shit would have never happened. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I learned they're not just, they ain't just telling you shit for nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's to benefit you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And everything that they taught me out there is, for the most part, is fundamentally at its core applicable out here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Because
I hold on to it.
Me and Moose have had that conversation. I heard him talking about it on a podcast the other day of basically like down here, there's quite a bit of animosity, or at least like black and Mexican gangs will be like rivals and shit. And that up there, more often than not, everybody's just kind of getting along. It's more of like a cohesive culture. Would you say that's accurate?
100%. So how I was raised was directly like that.
Yeah.
So my co-defendants were blacks and homies.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Was Bloods and Northerners, right? So there, yeah, bro. And it's been like that, and that is the culture in Northern California. You know what I'm saying? And I also know that down here the prevailing culture is a lot more segregated. But I did enough time with Southerners and blacks to know that it's not like that everywhere.
No, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At all. Like the Southerners used to make fun of us for even getting fades, right? Like just having like a fade, you know what I'm saying, in our hair. And they'd be just clowning, you know what I'm saying? Like it's funk, right? And at the time in the pen, it was funk, definitely. But like we wasn't talking shit on the tier. We wasn't doing none of that stuff, right? So during lockdowns, like the homies will go up with the whoever, and then in the events, we'll still be bullshitting. We'll still be, hey, fool, you got that CD? Oh, I heard you slapping that shit over. That's tight. Who was that? That type of little, just very surface level conversation between various group segments in the event or through the door. You know what I'm saying? That's positive and respectful. But if the door cracks, you know what it is. It's up. We're going to try to down each other. You know what I'm saying? But so they would give me a hard time about having a fade or sagging or all that shit. But it wasn't like, fool, you bitch ass fool, sagging and got a stupid ass fade like it is on the internet in the comments. You know what I'm saying? It's more like, oh, nice haircut, homie. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You learn that from the brothers, you know what I'm saying? That type shit, you know what I mean?
It is funny down here because obviously there's that side that is kind of like anti Mexican dudes acting like they're black basically. Right. But then the dudes who are winning musically more often than not are the dudes who are more representative of the overall culture, or like clearly embrace hip hop culture, whereas like Cholo rap is pretty niche.
It is, yeah, it is. But it's a weird kind of thing because I consider myself a Cholo. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as everything that is the culture, you know what I'm saying? I love it. Like, and he knows, all my brothers know, like I love the out of it. You know what I'm saying? The dress, man, I might dress like it a little bit, and I'm allowed to, like I grew up in Dickies and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's not a costume I'm putting on. That's in my soul. I'll show pictures of it from the 90s. But as the culture evolves and how I think raza is presented needs to evolve. You know what I'm saying? In order, especially for a like me, where I do music not because I ever expect to get bread or anything off of it, but because I'm trying to tell them motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? There's a message behind it. So in order for me to be able to do that, I feel like there's a certain look, sound, and I just talk how I talk, you know what I'm saying? But I when I have conversations, I'm throwing a little Spanglish in there, but I don't really know Spanish like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, but all that little bullshit makes me who I am. You know what I'm saying? And that really is every race. You know what I'm saying? If it's, and I don't want to get too preachy on here, but that's the truth. I got white homies that's solid as I seen white bloods that's solid as I seen black dudes that rock with us harder than a lot of Mexican dudes. You know what I'm saying? So Asian, I got Asian homies that is straight killers. You know what I'm saying? So can't tell them nothing. Yeah.
So, okay, you being locked up in prison though is like, it's got to have a weird impact on your mind, because on one hand, you're supposed to keep your distance from black dudes, whereas those are dudes that you were pretty much around before.
We're not supposed to keep your distance from black dudes. No.
Okay.
But certain group segments. Right. So I'm not going to get on here and talk about politics, but I think different group segments, depending on who you rock with, have or deal with like I have black homies, just like I was saying, and I have white homies, and I have Asian homies, and I don't really look at them no different than none of my brothers here. You know what I'm saying? And I don't give a f- and it'll be up if people play with them like it'll be up if people play with this fool. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. It's not, I don't give a f- about their race. You know what I'm saying? Rico's my brother. You know what I'm saying?
Rico Too Smooth?
Yeah, I don't give a f- about none of that shit. Really?
Definitely. But so when you're locked up too, is it more, you're saying you were able to have like sort of cordial conversations with Southsiders up there, but is that really like who you have like issues with internally, or is it more like a Mexican unity thing where you all got to stick together to protect each other and shit?
No, of course not. No.
None of that.
None of that.
Okay.
None of that. It was just cordial, positive conversation. You know? Sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah. For the most part.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But I mean, I heard some stories you were telling about being out in that environment and everything, and it sounds like you had to get busy. You had to get very acquainted with committing pretty extreme acts of violence pretty early on.
Yeah, within a year. I went to the SHU for attempted murder. I stabbed the first dude. You know what I'm saying? So,
and that was your cellmate, or no? That came later?
That was the next one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was that situation? And what, catching an attempted murder while you're already locked up doing all this time must have been a crazy feeling.
Oh, yeah. They're all just personal problems I have with people. Yeah.
Okay. And when you look back on it, was that a situation where you were doing too much, or were you doing what you had to do to survive? Because obviously your respect and your willingness to go the whole way is a pretty big deal. But like, was there other ways that you could have handled that, or was that how you had to do it?
I'm sure there are other ways I could have handled it, but definitely it was a choice. It's always a choice, right? So yeah, it was definitely a choice, and but I don't regret the decisions I made, for sure. When it comes to that kind of stuff, that everything I do, I feel like in the same situation, I'd do it again.
Right. And so you got life, or what was the actual?
I got 32 to life. Yeah.
32 to life. Okay. So are you thinking that you're going to come home, or are you even thinking about the end
I ain't
of
gonna lie. So initially, no. Right? No.
It's so far away. You're what are you, 21 by the time?
The way GP lines were at the time, right? It was like it was yeah, you gonna be there. They weren't parole boards weren't letting nobody go. You know what I'm saying? It was like, it was a joke, really. It was a kangaroo court. You know what I'm saying? So you would go in and they'd be like, well, are you going to snitch on your homies? And then, no? Okay, well, you ain't going home. You know, basically, that's how it is. So I wasn't worried about paroling. I wasn't. So 2 to life case meant you're doing like forever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So.
And if you're 21, I mean, what is 50?
What is 50? 100%.
It's just, you can't even imagine.
Yep. And then you're in there with 50-year-olds and they seem like they're okay.
Yeah.
They're having a good time.
100%. Yeah. Yep, for real.
Damn.
So it's like, it's not really too far-fetched to see myself at 50 on these 4 yards with my brothers, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, in good shape, doing all the shit, you know what I'm saying? So it's not, it wasn't, I hated it, obviously, but I was able to manage day to day. And I think most people in prison with life see it the same way. Like, you're able to manage day to day, knowing this fool's done it, that fool's done it. You're going to be cool. Don't complain about it, because what are you going to do about it? You know what I'm saying? Just keep going. You know what I mean?
But in your mind, like, what's the division between, there's got to be a part of your brain that's like, you know what? I get to wake up every day and I get to, you know, play cards with guys or whatever you're doing in the, you know, with the community. You get to talk, you get to hang out with dudes or whatever. It's like, it's not, you're still alive.
Yeah.
But then on the other side, it's like, well, you know, I'd almost kind of just rather not be alive because I'm stuck in this box having to do the same bullshit every day.
No,
that it's not like that. You're still happy to be there.
I'm still happy to be there and do my part. You know what I'm saying? And just at least I knew they got one homie that's ready to go. You know what I'm saying? So I hope my cellie is ready to go. I hope all these other is ready to go. But as long as I'm good, then we're not going out as a team. We're not going out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's my whole.
Especially just given that you'd already been initiated into gang life, and there's an extent to which like prison is the most extreme high level version of that shit, because you're surrounded by a lot of other dudes who realistically have put in the most work and been through the most shit, and it's kind of different than normal people.
What you learn and what I learned was you're not as tough as you think you are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be a dude, if you around, they're gonna down you. And if one dude can't do it, two dudes gonna do it. And if two dudes can't do it, four dudes gonna do it. But you're gonna get your issue.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Is anybody like really hustling, getting money in there? Because I hear stories like this, but I don't think it's not everywhere, right?
Yes, brother.
Okay.
People are doing great, and they're fine.
And you were doing well for yourself at a certain point, or are you staying out of all that?
I was doing well for myself towards the end. You know what I'm saying? When things changed in prison at a certain point, and the focus became some not violence, right? Yeah, I was able to not rely on my family to send me packages and do all that kind of stuff, and that's a great feeling. You know?
Definitely. Okay, so that attempted murder charge that you caught, though, like, did that add a lot of time to your what?
No, the lucky thing is I caught a few attempted murders, and because you have life, they consider it like beating a dead horse. And on the rare chance that they actually ad book you with a fucking attempted murder, if you already got life, nobody really gives anyways, you know what I'm saying? So a court is really just seen as like a trip. You get to go to the county jail. You get to see what homies is over there. Do that kind of shit. For real. It's not really like a big deal, you know what I'm saying? But what's crazy for me personally, right before I got out, I had just got out of the shoe. So I had just got accepted. So the juvenile laws changed. Yeah. Right. And I was with this, speaking of the race thing, is I was in Corcoran shoe, and there wasn't a lot of active cells in the shoe. The shoes were in transition. They were kind of, whereas before it would have been just a bunch of GP cells, right? It was kind of like the tide was turning a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You were starting to see it around 2009. And so there was 2009, 2010 maybe, you know what I'm saying? So like there was a lot of SNYs, they wasn't even called SNYs at the time, I don't think. But they might have been, but I'm not 100% sure. But there was a lot of PCs, right? In that, and there was only like 3-4 cells that was active. My neighbor was a keyway from Long Beach, right? From Insane. And we chop game all the time. And it was cool to have him as a neighbor, because at least I had an active next door neighbor, no matter where the rotation went on the cages, because you might not even see another active cell depending on how the rotation in Corcoran shoe cages was, right? But because he was my cellie, my neighbor, I was able to chop it up with him all the time. So he told me, turn on Good Morning America. And the juvenile laws had changed, right? And so I didn't know how to file no habeas corpus or anything like that, but I was pretty good at the 602s and shit like that. And actually, I did have a basic understanding of habeas corpus processing at the time, you know what I'm saying? And I was able to utilize a little bit in order to understand the language and turn that motherfucker in. And I fought that bitch for 10 years, you know what I'm saying? And luckily, by the time that part of it got accepted, I had just blasted this other dude. Yeah. Right. So I was in a shoe, and my attorney, Mr. Lipsmeyer, rest in peace, was like, "What the f are you doing?" You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You just got but I knew all they was going to do at the time for juveniles was give you access at a parole hearing after 25 years, right? So for me personally, I knew that wasn't going to do anything. Parole hearing, like I was telling you, they wasn't going to let me go from a parole hearing. You know what I'm saying? I a lot of violence on my history, right? So I knew that's all they give a about, and I wasn't PCing up. I wasn't doing none of that shit. So then the laws for the felony murder rule changed, right? While I was in the shoe, you know what I'm saying? So on the next, so on the first shoe, on the second shoe, the juvenile laws changed. On the last shoe, the felony murder rule changed. So I was able to apply the new existing law that just became retroactive and I helped it become retroactive. But into my juvenile shit to where I don't need the parole hearing no more because I'm already access to court. I'm already in the court, have access to the court. I'm able to apply any existing law into my shit. You know what I'm saying? So that becomes part of the sentencing. So they was like, yeah, you're gonna get out basically. So, but then when I went to Sac County for the sentencing, COVID happened.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we was in our county jail for one day. You know what I mean? And got sent right back to New Folsom because they had shut down all the state facilities.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we went right back, but my attorney had cancer, so he was able to ask the judge if he could do the hearing via email.
Right.
That should save my life.
Before they even were doing like Zoom trials and shit like that?
It might have been Zoom. I don't even know if it was Zoom, but I just know that it was emails. You know what I'm saying? And the only stipulation was me and Lil Man had to sign a thing saying that we wouldn't be present during the hearings because we couldn't. I would figure on a Zoom call we could be there. So that makes me think that knowing what I know now about Zoom, they could have just FaceTime. You know what I'm saying? And boom. But they ultimately we fit it perfect. Right?
I can imagine after you've done 20 years in prison and then something happens where you feel like you might need to stab somebody. There's got to be serious alarm bells going off in your head like, do not do this because you're about to get out.
Right. So, you know, I'm not the hardest dude, right? But I just me and my brother had this Lil Man had this conversation like all right, well, if something happens, we're still gonna do it. You know, we're still gonna participate, right? Because this is what we like. We're not gonna. The homies have showed me how to do all this stuff that is allowing me to get out at all. I could barely read when I went in there.
So you're talking more like a riot situation where you're just expected to get down along with everybody else?
Whatever it is.
Okay.
Right, whatever. Maybe.
It's not just like a one-on-one.
That'd be the most probably common situation that might actually, right, pull us into
where you're basically like, you are just the worst representative of your race if you don't get down in this environment.
Right. So, but we had this conversation and luckily it didn't happen, and we wouldn't necessarily want to do it, right? But it'd be like, I'm not just gonna abandon you now because, right?
But were you also thinking, I'm probably not gonna get charges because there's a ton of crazy shit happening. What are the odds that I'm one of the people that gets caught?
Oh, you get caught. Yeah,
it's just like that nowadays?
Yeah, you get caught in that motherfucker. Yeah, it is.
Because they're just crazy good with the cameras and everything nowadays that like, it's just, you're not getting away with shit.
I mean, I guess like you can't pinpoint the thing, but if you're doing what you're supposed to do, you're gonna have, you're just covered in blood,
right?
Like there's just blood on you.
Damn. So it wasn't a hard decision. This was just like,
No, it's a hard decision, brother. I'm like a human being. Motherfuckers are human beings. I'm not a psychopath. I'm not a sociopath. Well, I don't want to stab, right? So I'm like. So it's just it's an acceptance. It's like kids going to war, right? Like, damn, you don't even know these, you know what I'm saying? You don't necessarily, I don't have a problem with Adam, you know what I'm saying? But bro, like, damn, like, you know the rules, I know the rules, you know what I'm saying? If you get out of line, then certain things have to happen. Otherwise, people who are friends with Adam might think that it's okay to treat people who are friends with Fats a certain way. You know what I'm saying? So am I gonna be the reason Adam's friends treats my brothers different? You know what I'm saying? You ain't never gonna see me be that reason. Damn. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Right? And hopefully, right? I always say that kind of stuff, bro, just so people know, like, you don't gotta be super thugged out and all that shit, you know what I'm saying? But it's like you see the square dudes that just known their neighbor hella long, right? And your neighbor's getting beat up by a guy who hit his car on the side of the road in his driveway. What's he gonna do? They getting down. I'm just gonna let my neighbor get in with this dude? Yeah. No, we about to jump that dude. Yeah. That's the whole mentality of prison.
For sure.
For me, you know what I mean?
And so you had you got married while you were in there?
Yeah, I got married in county jail.
How many years in?
Man,
you do your research.
Yeah, she gonna be crazy. Yeah, man, I got married to a Sureña.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, from Wine Gardens.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Was that a conflict in your mind at all, or was it just like whatever?
Nope. No, you fuck. She rizzed me up pretty good, you know what I'm saying? And talked a real good game. And I bit, but she asked me a few times, and then I was about to get life, and I was trying to tell her like, dude, I'm about to get life. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, I'll take care of it. We can do this and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right, you do the paperwork. We'll get married. So we ended up getting married. And then it was more of like a business arrangement. You know what I'm saying?
It's got to be in your head, because it's like anyone who's going to help you at all while you're in jail.
Also, I didn't know her. I didn't really know her.
So what, you like talked to her through the glass and shit?
Through the glass. Yeah. She wrote me a ton of shit, but I was talking to a few girls.
Right.
And she knew I never lied to her. I didn't need a lot of wood. I don't give a
What do you think was wrong with her that she wanted to be married to a prisoner?
100%. Man, I mean, she's lonely, bro. She's lonely. And plus, look at your boy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You had some game.
I had no game, bro. I had no game. I'm not even kidding.
Was it thrilling in a way to be messing with a girl who was from the other team?
No.
You just didn't even care?
I didn't. It was just funny more than anything. You know what I'm saying? It's not the first scrap you know what I'm saying? I didn't her, but yeah, it's been, It
seems pretty common, because Tommy Guns basically describes the alternate version of this scenario in his biggest song. Yeah. Which, I'm not going to quote right now, but you know,
don't do that.
Pretty similar dynamic. Yeah,
but he said he was writing letters. You know, you write letters. What are you really saying?
Right.
You know, you simping.
Yeah.
Right.
But you probably had to write some letters too.
I was simping. Yeah.
But so the way he described it in the song, like you know, he's doing something hardcore, but when you're writing letters, come on, you know what I mean?
Yeah, what you think I'm bullying a bitch in a letter, bro?
Also, you had life. He was probably locked up for like a year or something.
Right. I don't know about that fool. Fuck that dude.
All right. So okay, but you held that situation together the whole time that you were locked up, pretty much.
Her?
Yeah.
Hell no, bro. She called me. I used to mess with this talk. I was talking to girls before I even got married, but she knew it, right? And then so when I kept doing it, right? Because I used to schedule the visits, because you only get two visits a week. Right? So if my mom wanted to come, I wanted to come a lot. But if she wanted to come, I needed to make sure she could come, right? My sisters, if they want to come, I needed to make sure they could come. And if other girls wanted to come, right? I'm going to come see you this weekend. I'm going to do this. I ask them for money, right? If they need to come see me in order to put money on my books, then I need them to come, right? And same goes for her. It wasn't out of disrespect. It was just out of like, this is what life is like in here for me right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're cool. You're a cool chick, but I can't worry about females' feelings. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to worry about what's happening in here, everything that goes on with this lifestyle. And, you know, so after we got married, I continued. And then she met one of the girls downstairs.
Just coincidence? Oh, while they were both visiting?
No, because she thought because she was married, she could just come whenever she wanted, right? And so I had told her the week prior that I'm getting another visit, don't come up, right? And she still came up, so they met downstairs, and that's how that played out. She was like, oh, you cheating on me. I wasn't cheating on you, girl. Like, she was like, I thought it was different because we got married. And I was like, nothing's changed, girl.
Right.
And then but I couldn't worry about it. That was more towards right when I was about to get convicted. It was the end of trial. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't really give a f. It was just like, whatever, bitch, don't come up here, right?
Yeah.
And then she, I guess, had a change of heart by the time I hit Tracy. So when I hit Tracy, when I finally started getting mail, because it takes mail a minute to get rerouted, right? So maybe like a week, 2 weeks. But right before I went to High Desert, I got a stack of letters from her. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sorry, I overreacted and all this shit. And at that point, I was just like, man, I'm cool.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm about to go into prison, and then I'm really not trying to f with you now. I'm trying to f nobody that isn't positive and doing what I need them to do when I tell them to do it.
Because I mean, as a dude who's locked up, you got to just be looking at women as an opportunity to get money, supplies, whatever, like boobs, maybe some pussy at some point. Like, you know, it's just,
we didn't have conjugal visits. So that wasn't even, I was trying to keep that out of my mind. It'd be nice, but you know what I'm saying? But
even just having a girl that's down to listen to you and just talk to you and shit has got to go a long way.
To a girl instead of a bunch of dudes.
Anything is just something at that point, right? Yep. Because, okay, so you don't have conjugal visits for a long time, but then this is one of the grimiest things I ever heard a dude say, but you said that once you finally got conjugal visits, she didn't really look that good anymore, so you weren't even really tripping, which I thought that the desire to would be so strong at that point that it wouldn't even matter.
Yeah, my thinking was physically I wasn't super attracted to her anymore, and if I waited this long, I could wait a couple more months, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm glad I did, bro. I'm glad I did, for real.
You're following your heart.
I was following my dick, homie. I didn't want to that bitch, and that was it, you know what I'm saying?
And she didn't want to kill you when you got out or anything? She was
you know, she did a quintessential Facebook post about me being a weirdo, and, you know, I ain't gonna say what she said a bunch of crazy shit about me, you know what I'm saying? But
and all her friends working at the restaurant with her or whatever are like, wow, what a shocker that the dude doing life
doesn't want to
also talking to other chicks. Like, where the you expect? That's so funny.
Yeah.
Damn, how ugly was she?
Man, if I was foul, I'd tell you her name. You know what I'm saying? But
were you tripping about if she was spending time with other dudes, or were you just because you can't police it, right?
I didn't give a about any girl I was talking to to other dudes. I don't care,
right? Because you can't do shit about it.
There's nothing I can do about it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit in there and cry over a girl. That's out.
Damn, that's crazy. Yeah. And so you were locked up with a Unabomber at one point?
I was, bro. Tate Kaczynski.
That's insane.
Yeah, in county jail, on 80s 200 pod. The 80s was essentially reorientation. So when you go to hole, you have to go back through, get reorientation, go through that process again to get set back down to a floor. So I was up there for maybe 2-3 months, because I had hit every floor a couple times, you know what I'm saying, just fights and stuff, you know what I'm saying? So I was up there for a while with him. They had me on TSEP, right? So he was on TSEP, and there was no other people that lived in the section. Everybody else would just come and go because it's orientation. So when you come to county jail, you would pull up in a cell, they'd give you orientation, then you go down to a floor wherever you're going to be housed for the duration of your stay, right? So, man, that motherfucker was cool as fuck. Everybody was like, oh, he's crazy. He's not crazy.
So you didn't really get any indication that he had a few screws loose or anything?
No, bro, he had a belief system, right? And in his head, he was essentially a revolutionary, right? So he said that basically technology was going to take over the earth, and that we were dooming ourselves. And
he had a point.
Brother, was he wrong? Yeah. Right? That's what's coming. They're telling people don't even if you're in medical school, finish your medical school thing, but we're not going to need doctors in 5 years. You know what I'm saying? So he's not wrong, and that's because of technology. You know what I'm saying?
Seems like a impressive observation, given that we're kind of in the era of expecting that AI is going to destroy a huge number of jobs in the very near future.
It is 100% going to destroy.
Graphic designers are almost extinct.
Oh, man, yeah.
It's all
coders.
Everybody's gonna be in the services for the most part.
And the irony is that if you're a plumber or a construction worker, you're golden. You probably got a good job for much longer than people that went into, like, if you're a lawyer.
Yeah.
The fact that I can get like a huge legal document that's 80 pages long and just put it in ChatGPT and it'll summarize the whole thing for me. It would have cost me like 10 grand with a lawyer or some shit in a prior era.
It's the damn if you do, damn if you don't, because with the lawyer, you're subject to their personal failings. Right. And with AI, it's like, damn, if you're going to win or you're going to lose, you're going to know immediately. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So having gone through that system and having seen people fail because of who they chose to deal with, and not because whether or not they were on the right side of the law, in that sense, I love that. You know what I'm saying? As long as it's not biased, it relieves all the bias of the court system. Right. So I get that side of it. And whether you're talking about the financial, like if it's a civil case, if it's whatever, like, man, that's dope. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you got going on, because you're either right or you're wrong, period. You know what I'm saying? That's dope. But as far as what it means for attorneys and paralegals and secretaries, and everybody who's affected by the the peripheral of whatever.
I mean, once we don't need truck drivers anymore is when it's going to get real crazy, because that's a huge part of our economy. And
Amazon's
it's right around the corner. It's kind of
Amazon,
crazy it hasn't happened yet. Yeah.
Amazon's ordering hella trucks already.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They fired hella factory workers. Man, I was just looking at the numbers the other day, huh? Yeah. It's about to get real crazy. It's about to get real crazy.
It's about to be a weird world. But okay, you did a ton of time in solitary. But you were saying that you had like a cellmate for some decent percentage of it, so you're not totally alone when you're in solitary, or?
Yeah, you can have a cellie.
Okay.
Right. So like, I did more than half my time in holes in shoes, right? Just because I was getting in trouble a lot, right?
Yeah.
And then and so up until 2009, when I blasted my cellie in 2009. Right. So then they wouldn't give me a cellie until luckily my co-defendant was my cellie. You know what I'm saying? So that was dope. For him to be that first cellie, you know what I'm saying? It's like full circle. That was dope. You know what I mean? Describe
your happiness level though when you're like just locked in a cage with one dude 24/7 or whatever, versus when you actually have access to go out and fraternize with everybody else.
Listen. I'm even now, like when he comes in the studio's dark. I just be by myself. I don't have my brother Trex. No, I just be by myself. I don't, you know what I'm saying? That's who I am now. You know what I'm saying? So
it made you that way. You weren't originally like that. You were more social before.
I have no idea, bro. I don't remember like my, right. I don't know if I wanted to go kick it or whatever. Like,
because we're talking about you when you were 16.
When I was a kid. Yeah. I don't actually remember my feelings towards, right. I just was with it. Like if you come over and holler at me, if you page me, if you that type shit, then I'm gonna pull up, you know what I'm saying? But I wasn't chasing homies down to go kick it. I was never that kind of guy, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And but I thought being single cell would be cool, right? After doing like 10 years, right? You have that thinking like, oh, that shit's gonna be cool. I did a little whole time in the county, and in our county jail, whole time is always single cell, you know what I'm saying? But the in the pen is way different. 6 months of that is cool. Then you get all the, you know what I'm saying, all the stuff out of your system, you know what I'm saying? And now you got to think, you know, are you going to, because you could fall and stop programming, right? Like, I don't mean programming like PC up. I mean like stop doing the burpees on your own, you know what I'm saying? Stop reading, stop studying and shit. And it really, like, after the first 6 months of me not doing shit and just like kind of enjoying, right? Like after all this time, every day I wake up at 5:30 in the morning and I'm doing 122 counts and reading a book, you know what I'm saying? And not turning my TV on until like 1, you know what I'm saying, in the afternoon. Then it was cool to just be by myself, you know what I'm saying? But that wears off. And then you just get up here and then you're like.
Do you think that like for you, the most important part was just the sort of like mental strength that you got through having a schedule and like really sticking to it?
Yeah, it makes your day go by hella fast just on a purest level. It's like, just you need it. You need that kind of daily program in order to just make sure your day goes right. You don't lose day for night, you know what I'm saying, and get lost in the thing, especially when you're in certain holes, like Z Unit and Calipatria hole, you don't really, and Pelican Bay, you don't really see no sun. There's no way to tell what time it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you could really, like, if you're not paying attention, you're not listening for sounds, and you're not kind of trying to figure out what's happening, you don't know if it's 5 in the evening or 5 in the morning. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. You getting up in there or not?
Like drinking and stuff?
Yeah.
No, I was not on that hype. I would drink occasionally, you know what I'm saying? But when I did drink though, especially towards the end, man, it didn't take much. I was lightweight. I paroled a lightweight, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I never really was like, I smoked weed a lot as a kid, but once I stopped smoking weed and when I went to prison, a little bit of weed just knocked me down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's also just got to be like crazy having to pay for that shit when it's like unbelievably expensive, right?
It is very expensive in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is like, you know, it's very expensive. Yeah.
Definitely. Okay. So what's going on in your head as the release date approaches? Like, are you dead set on just getting back to a normal life? Are you trying to be like a real square when you get out? Or are you realizing like, I'm probably going to be kicking it with my homies and shit?
My main thing was, I liked who I was, bro. And I still like who I am. You know what I'm saying? And, being a real square is out of the question. You know what I'm saying? It's not a thing that's, I think is ever going to be a thing. You know what I'm saying? And I love that about myself, bro. So, no, I didn't think I was ever going to be a square. Never going to be a square. I'm old as and I'm still what I am, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, no, I'm never going to be a square.
Right.
When I got out.
When you first, before he got out, when you first contacted me, he didn't even know he was coming home. So he was already rapping.
Right. Oh, yeah, because 2013, you started rapping and doing videos
phones,
from there, right?
From the phones, yeah. We started getting phones in there, and it started being like something that I was excited to do but didn't really know how to do, you know what I'm saying? And he showed me a lot of stuff, but I had to figure out a lot of technical aspect myself, you know what I'm saying?
But you had never rapped when you were a kid, or?
Of course, yeah, I did.
Okay.
I actually was super into it as a kid, you know what I'm saying? My boy Kano and me used to, rest in peace, used to like really be into it, and I freestyle real good and made like these little hood tapes and all little stupid shit. And then, so I knew, if I got a chance, I'll do it again. I don't give a fuck. Life is short. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do whatever I want to do. And so once we got phones and a pen, I started doing it. You know what I'm saying? I started trying to use them to just do what I love to do. And some motherfuckers was with it. So I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Right. So you're actually getting like a reaction, like it was actually going kind of crazy, and like you're hearing people tell you about like people reacting to it on the outside?
Some on the outside, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people on the outside, a few people on the outside, but a lot of people on the inside. You know what I'm saying? Like homies like, oh, that's dope. That's dope. Like how you do that? Everybody's hit me up on how to do this shit. And then I was probably one of the first people on a 4 to actually do a music video on a 4 yard, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody's ever really done it like that. So I was pretty proud of that. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. I mean, now it's crazy how much it's evolved, where I know dudes who are prisoners that are doing life, and they're like making YouTube videos and live streaming like every day, and like probably making pretty legit money.
Right. Oh, for the pen?
Yeah.
Oh, I never seen that. Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, for real? Yeah.
Seen that one. That one black dude. He had live streams, but he got his shit taken down. What was his name?
B-Braze?
Yeah.
Yeah.
B-Braze. Yeah. He got.
But he gets his phone back. Like I seen him on. Well, I don't know if he's still uploading, but I seen him like. There's this dude J Hood that came in the other day who just did like 13 years for a murder from Carson. And when he's sitting here, his phone is blowing up the whole time because he's in these group calls. And then he just flashes the phone at me, and I see faces of all these dudes that I've kind of seen on YouTube and shit. And
all just prisoners?
And they're all just in this big ass group call, just talking to each other all day. And he's actually saying that it makes it kind of weird, like when you're locked up, because you get so comfortable being able to talk to people this smoothly that like some of these dudes aren't as motivated to get out.
I'm gonna be real. If I was on a tier with them and I knew like they was on the thing, and because police had to be rushing their cell all the time.
Yeah.
Right? Like looking for the phone. I mean, I'd be hot, bro. I'd be hot.
But he's kind of telling me that like sometimes they'll have sort of like gentlemanly agreements with the cops or the COs where they'll kind of.
What is that? How did he explain that? Like, what does that mean?
Like, hey, if we don't have any violence here, we're not going to worry about if you guys got phones or not. And then some dude goes and smokes spice and freaks out and beats the shit out of a CO, and then all of a sudden they all get their cells raided.
Yeah,
I don't know exactly what prison he was in.
Information
but he was just painting a picture of it where like, because I asked him, I'm like, how do you get the phones? And he's just like, 100% it's always from the COs. Like, there's no other way for us to get it. So they're kind of in on it. And I'm sure that there's prisons where they're more hardcore with raiding cells and shit. But because I mean, obviously, like
California, they be hitting your shit. So he's probably not in California.
I mean, the smart thing, if you got a phone, is never post anything and just use it to like look up info or listen to podcasts or do whatever to get
yourself out of prison or get money.
Creating the content is the problem, because that's just going to get you, it's just make your shit so hot.
Yeah. You know, they got a lot of those faceless accounts.
Yeah.
Right. That's something you could probably do. You know what I'm saying?
There's a kid, C-Star on YouTube who covers his whole face. So I think maybe he's getting away with it because maybe the people in his.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
He's probably going by the same name that he's using.
Yeah, man. That would have never happened over there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That would never happen. They get a little whiff of that shit, they're going to hit the pad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I do know a dude who's doing like 30 years who just tweets all day.
Yeah.
And I assume that's probably a lot safer because at least it's not.
And you could be like, this account is run by management, or you could fucking, something like that. But man, shout out to them, man. If you doing it like that, as long as you ain't a PC, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to them.
Definitely. All right. So you get out and they make you go to like a halfway house for a while, or no?
Never went to no halfway house. No,
where'd you go to?
Man, well, first of all, I wasn't even supposed to be on parole, right? Because I'm technically not guilty of the murder, right? So they have me as just a robbery, right? I should have just been found guilty of the robbery, but because the DA said he has such a history of violence and all this other stuff that we need to keep a closer eye on him. The only way we could do that is if we have access to his pad, his vehicle. Consistently, we put him on parole for 3 years. The judge said no. 1 year became the stipulation, so I was on a 1 year parole stipulation thing. You know what I'm saying? So, which I didn't give a right. Like who gives a let me out. It's great. But yeah. So I was just on parole for a year. Yeah.
So you get out and like what's at the front of your mind, or like what you want to do with your freedom?
At first I didn't really know, right? Like I knew I wanted to do some music, right? Like just cause that's what I want to do. That's what's in my heart, low key, you know what I'm saying? So I was going to do that no matter what. I didn't give a you know what I'm saying? But as far as a job and shit like that, I didn't really know. I know I'm a hot boy. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of the first to get on the 1437 law. So I'm not trying to call super attention to myself from the police. You know what I'm saying? So let me just get a job. And but nobody was hiring me, bro.
Right.
Nobody hired me. Nobody's hiring me. And
it's gotta be tough. You just did 20 years.
Yeah. When you look up my history, it still says murder, right? So I wasn't getting no job. Nobody's gonna hire me. So I started tattooing.
Okay.
And a shop hired me. I went in. I didn't have no portfolio or nothing, but I've been tattooing. I tattooed myself all in a pen while I was single cell. So I pulled up on this dude and on a shop that was pretty close to the house, and was like, I don't really got a portfolio. Like I got these drawings from prison, and I tatted my girl at the time's leg, and I got all these tattoos on me, and I had an Amazon coil. And you're all blasted. You already know it's an Amazon coil is just a little trash, right?
All right.
And so I was like, "What's up? Can I work?" And he was like, "If you could tattoo as good as you draw, I'll let you." So I just drew on my ex and tatted in front of him, and he was like, "All right, yeah, you could have that booth right there," and gave me a little game, and I was tattooing for a long time.
Damn, that's dope. Why'd you fall back on that?
It wasn't cracking like it was. The music got a little better, you know what I'm saying? I started making a little bit more money. I was making enough to where I didn't have, and then as soon as I stopped tattooing, the money from the music went down like it was crazy. But yeah, but I still tattoo. I'll still be tattooing, just out of the studio and stuff. We have a studio. So yeah, I'll be tattooing.
For sure. What was the hardest shit to get used to after being away for 21 years?
What's the hardest thing to get used to?
In terms of just how much the world has changed.
The hardest thing to get used to is me out here, right? Like you go from programming every day, busting down every day, doing all that shit. I got out, bro. I was not trying to, man, a shout out to all the homies doing all the workout shit and all that shit. But your boy did not want to do shit, bro. I wasn't trying to work out. I was trying to eat and do all that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what I was doing. And so I think that it's kind of figuring out who I am without prison. You know what I'm saying? Like just as a grown man. You know what I mean? And I think that. But as far as dealing with other people and all that, nobody's ever approached me in real life aggressively or in any way overtly disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? Without an issue. I had you know, obviously there's been some issues, right? But it's always been, for the most part, super positive, super cordial with everybody. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Is it tough because, like, I assume that, like, a huge percentage of the people that you were around, or the community that was around you when you went in, I mean, 20 years later, it's like, gotta be just not, like, a lot of people are just gone, dead, moved away, not with the same lifestyle, etc.
I didn't feel like I really needed anybody, right? Obviously, right? So like some people were gone, some people were woo, but the people who me for real, I made sure that I was in some way a part of their life. You know, I was like this fool, you know what I'm saying? Like Lil Man, like my brothers J King and Spooky and Millie and all them. Them was my real brothers. I always talk about them on the podcast, you know what I'm saying? Them was like I've known since I was 11, 12, 10 years old, you know what I'm saying? So like I made sure that I was in contact with them when I got out, you know what I'm saying? That they knew, like, well, I'm out here, brother, whatever we on.
Definitely. You know was your story like well known enough that when you get out, like, people are excited about it? Because I noticed, like, you're doing records with people like Lazy Boy, the more poppin' Norteno rappers and stuff. But these people were like hearing about you and like knowing about the story and everything.
So, yeah, Lazy Boy. A lot of these dudes, I reached out to.
Okay.
Right, and you know who Shimo is, I'm sure, yeah, right? Yeah. So, Shimo made a lot of those connections for me. You know what I'm saying? When I got out, I had talked to Shimo a little bit while I was in the pen. You know what I'm saying? And he was actually supposed to do my prison video at the time, right? And for whatever reason, he wasn't able to. You know what I'm saying? But I still with him. I still thought it was dope. You know, I still thought he was dope as. So, when I got out, he was actually the first dude I reached out to. Like, man, I'm trying to do this music stuff. I want to do this video. You know what I'm saying? I got this song I did with my crib homie J.E. and I'm trying to do a video for it. So I reached out to him, and he ended up doing that Free at Last for free. You know what I'm saying? Just running it for me. Like, hey, my bad for not with you using the pen. You know what I mean? So, man, he ran it for free, and he actually plugged me into a lot of this shit, and he introduced me to a lot of, like, the technical aspect of doing music, the social aspect of doing music, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, I appreciate the fuck out of him.
No, definitely. What do you get out of doing the podcast that you don't necessarily get out of rapping? Like, does it satisfy a different desire?
No, bro, I didn't even want to do the hosting part of the podcast. Right. I set it all up. I pulled everybody together. I did all the thing, and initially I wasn't even supposed to be a host on that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And but you know, I figured it out. You know what I'm saying? Some stuff we had to make some changes, and I just played the role I needed to play. You know what I'm saying? And the most important thing is giving a voice to Northern Hispanics. You know what I'm saying? And that we ain't been heard on in a podcast level, on social media, in a way that's been in any kind of way positive. All the only representatives up to us was Dropouts. You know what I'm saying? And my brother Big Tone. You know what I'm saying? Really, and Big Mister. Actually, yeah. Big Mister. But they were very specific on the kind of podcasting that they were doing. And you guys are kind of more our where we kind of figure out the culmination of just the culture overall, you know what I'm saying? And how the only variable is, the two variables are that we're focused primarily on the Chicano aspect of it, you know what I'm saying? And we ain't gonna get nobody no fed case. We ain't gonna let them get a fed case. We ain't gonna let them get no crime shit, you know what I'm saying? Get any charges or anything. We're gonna figure out how we could keep them from it, if at all. And if we can't, we're not gonna put it out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's the only that's otherwise the scope of what we do is essentially what y'all do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just not on a
He actually pulled me in to the podcast before it even started, before it came up with a name. He had called me. He was like, bro, I need you to come out to Sac. I'm from Stockton. So I was like, cool.
Yep.
He hooked up with Shimo J. King. He was like, I need you to be the fourth host of the or the fourth member of the podcast, right? Shimo was gonna film. He was gonna do the behind the scenes, all the behind the scenes shit, and me and J. King were gonna host. It was two different dynamics. I was more of the serious fact checker dude, and J. King was more of the comedy relief, right? But it ended up not working out the way it was supposed to, and episodes kept coming out later and later, and we're trying to figure it out. We're people from the hood that didn't know how to figure out a podcast. And
it's tough turning it into like a machine that can just kind of crank content out.
Right. And so we had to figure out the content, the algorithm. Shimo was really good with the algorithm, gave us a lot of game. And then we had to, it didn't happen fast enough. And so it came to the point where Shimo was like, man, I'm gonna give it to y'all. Just run with it. Do what you do. We're like, all right, fuck it, we're gonna figure it out. And from there we just started pushing and started figuring out. Then I really needed him because Jay King was dealing with his own personal issues at the time. So I was like, bro, I need you to fill in real quick. He's like, cool, no problem. Then we linked up with Joe Bob. Joe Bob came in, but he lives in Antioch, so he couldn't always come. And we hooked up with Iman. Iman started coming, and so between him, Joe Bob, Iman, and sometimes Trapper Loke, and then we got Bus. He comes every once in a while. We made it work, right? We just found a little niche of who's gonna be doing what at what time. So I kind of forced him to come on to get from behind the scenes to in front. Because he was really against it at first. Like, man, I don't want to do that shit.
Yeah. But I'm glad I did, and I probably won't do it for a long time. The goal is to find another permanent host. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But man, the most important thing for me is that we got a voice. I don't give a so whatever I got to do, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean?
Does it feel like, in general, over the last few years, that you've just kind of seen like the world beginning to understand your culture more because there's more relevant rappers coming from up north and doing podcasts, doing social media, whereas like previously maybe there was just so much more light on dudes down here?
Yeah.
And when you thought of like California Mexicans, like you just kind of thought about people from down here, and like
100%.
It took longer for that up there to be like exposed more.
Right, and we had a stigma, right? And you was kind of part of that stigma too, where you talk about we're like a third world country up there. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like, and really we got all the game, right? How we talk, how we deal with these, and we were able to blend the cultures. You know what I'm saying? To where it's we are who we are, and we're unapologetic. You know what I'm saying? And we with these dudes, and we're not going to pretend like we don't. You know what I'm saying? We're going to just own it. We're just going to, we are the quintessential Chicanos, really, because the Chicano culture has evolved. You know what I'm saying? It's really the dudes down here who fight it. You know what I'm saying? That are the anomaly, bro. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, they're just this tiny little pocket of hardcore cholos that think that how raza overall act and how they incorporate regular American culture and black culture into their actual lives, just like every other human being, right, is somehow less than, even though it's the prevailing Chicano culture right now. It's just the evolution of.
But can you see their side of things where it's like, I've definitely had this conversation with dudes who are like, we don't need to say the N-word. Like, that is black culture. We have our own culture. If you want to use slang, like, use shit that relates back to Mexico. Use shit that relates back to our culture. You don't have to constantly be borrowing from black culture.
Right, but culture is what it is. You know what I'm saying? There isn't a idea that leads it, right? It is just how we live.
Yeah.
Right. So if you have to say this needs to be our culture or this doesn't need to be our culture, then it's inauthentic, right? If somebody is living with 3-4 individuals, male, female, and they start adopting a thing, and then that group grows, right? This is a natural thing that happens. And if everybody sees that and says, this is what it is, and I understand the negative connotation for nigga as a word specifically, right? And so I think just that's up to the individual to decide. You know what I'm saying? To decide if whether he's black, brown, white, and that's because of the effect that blacks have had on the culture overall, right? And so is if they see it as negative, that's between that individual and the individual saying it, right? And that's how and then if that individual and his friends decide a certain way and it affects more people, that is the evolution of culture.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's how you affect. I understand why it's a terrible word, right? If it's used in that derivation, right? But I also understand how it's a positive word if it's used in a positive way.
Yeah, like it's weird for me because when I lived on the East Coast, when I lived in New York and shit, surrounded by Puerto Ricans and Dominicans who said the N-word constantly, like it's nothing. So I never really even thought twice about it. To me, it was just always like, yeah, Hispanic people say it too.
Right.
But then now I feel like you see more and more conversation where you see black people genuinely like offended by Hispanic people saying it. Like, what would you say to someone who tried to make that argument?
So if I'm having a conversation with you, right, and you're a black dude, and you say, bro, can you not say nigga, right? And I say, okay, I'm trying to have a conversation with you, right? And my point is more important than the point of me using specific words, right? As long as there's a line drawn, right? You can't tell me don't say water bottle, right? Don't say, hey, can you not say water bottle? If that's just a regular word, the nigga word is very specific, right? And so if I'm having a conversation with a brother and he's like, hey bro, then guess what I'm gonna do? I'm trying not to offend the dude. I'm trying to keep having a conversation. If he approaches his, you say, right? Like you say to me, right? Then that's a whole different line he's trying to cross, right? If you're gonna try to punk me in and not saying it, you know what I'm saying? Then I'm gonna approach you accordingly. I'm gonna address that accordingly. But if he's just respectfully asking me to not say it, right? Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna respectfully not say it. That's just as a man, just as a grown man. That's how it goes. But as far as me changing my vernacular for the sake of appeasing a group of people that I don't personally know, whether no matter what the word is, you know what I'm saying? I'm probably not gonna do it because the brothers I hang around with don't really give a
right.
You know what I'm saying?
And Northern California is its own culture as it is. Like, yeah, you have the subsects of like Chicanos, blacks, Asians, Filipinos, whites, but Northern California as a whole is derived of all of them. So everybody, our culture has a little bit of everything in it. It's a melting pot culture. It's something that you don't see prominently in LA.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
but it's there. Even in the early 2000s when I met Southsiders and blacks from Compton, South Central, Watts. I used to come to Watts a couple times a month from Arizona. I lived in Arizona for a while, for like a year, right? And a little over a year. When I come up here, they be hanging around each other. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and they definitely weren't saying nigga at the time down here. So, but up there we were, and that's just the truth, and we still do. You know what I'm saying? We understand it makes some people mad. You know what I'm saying? And on an individual basis, if somebody talks to me about it, then I
but we still
that.
understand and respect and love our own culture as far as being Chicanos.
Right. And the two are not mutually exclusive.
Right.
Right. Because the reality is a lot of people, especially doing podcasting, don't understand the culture in the way that I do. Right. And I love my culture. You know what I'm saying? It's all blasted all over me on just a superficial level, but it's also, I've done stuff to actively push my culture forward. You know what I'm saying? And I still do. I do the marches. I do all the stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? That whatever, you know, I'm with it. Whatever we doing, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? But I even though I've fallen back from saying nigga a lot,
Yes.
Yeah, in the music and everything, right? But it's more from a marketing perspective, right? It's because I got stuff going on to where I'm trying to appeal a little bit more to a broader group of people. And it just makes sense.
Yeah.
It just makes sense. You know,
it is weird. I feel like we're at like almost a weird time now because I feel like it's kind of becoming more normalized for even white people to say it. Like, bro, I see streamers and shit saying it all the time now, like white streamers, that it's kind of shocking to me because like my whole life that's just kind of been like grounds for destruction of your whole life if you're a white boy running around saying the N-word, you know? And yeah, like really like almost every Hispanic person I know says it freely.
And in Sac, bro, it's even more. It's probably down here. Then probably down here, it's even more.
Even the percentage of black dudes who give a f is like,
and what it seems like,
maybe 2%. I don't know. Super small percentage.
What I see in like the podcasting and all this shit is like they always talk about how Mexicans really say it more than their brothers. You know what I'm saying? Really, they be saying it so much.
Yeah, sometimes they do. Yeah.
But, so I understand how it could be frustrating.
Yeah.
Right. But they got to see it every day. They got to hear the music from these dudes. It's not like hella brothers listening to Cholo stuff anyways.
But then you got internet characters that overdo certain things for likes and
extras on it.
And you got real life people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you kind of like, you kind of see the difference the way people act when they're on podcasts as opposed to when they're off.
You guys just be real with yourself, bro.
Yeah.
Like
I'll be you at all times.
I've been to parties and seen like a group of like black and white chicks all hanging out, sing along to a song, singing the N-word like crazy. And then I just get this realization of like, oh, right. Like the internet is different than the real world.
The real world, bro. That's true.
You've had tryouts. So you've seen characters come in and out, doing tryouts for podcast hosts.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
So you see how people are in real life as opposed to when they're trying out, they switch comes on and it's a character. And you got people like, you know what I mean?
And the thing on Twitter or whatever is that the most opinionated people have the loudest voices. So it's like, even if it's a relatively small percentage of black people that give a f about Mexicans saying the N-word, it's like, those are going to be the most amplified voices. Right. The one person who's offended by Jeezy saying the N-word or whatever is going to be the person who gets the viral tweet, whereas the other 99% of people who don't really give a f are not going to be heard, you know? Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Okay, so what, like, for sure you'd be disrespecting Southsiders in your music and everything like that. Is that, like, how would you describe where that comes from? Are you just referring to people on your local level, or do you have some sort of disdain for Los Angeles and people who rep the sur in general?
Well, I've seen personally how they treat each other, right? And so, like, that's crazy, right? So I know there's a distinction. I know they try to pretend like on the internet, like they with the Southerners, I guess, with the Northern Southerners, but they know that they be calling the Northern Southerners plasticos. So I know they acknowledge the difference. I only say that to say, I know they acknowledge the difference, right? And we acknowledge the difference, but really it's whoever. I don't give a and I don't feel like I need to explain, if it's fucking scrap, it's fucking scrap. And anybody that feels some kind of way, I already own it, right? It's not like I'm on some super tough guy shit. As long as I'm a buster, they're gonna be a scrap. If they approach me respectfully, you know what I'm saying? And Sac is different, right? But down here, anywhere, if you approach me respectfully, like that shit with Thumps. I know you've been seeing that shit with Thumps. That dude approached him respectfully. You know what I'm saying? He made a decision. He was in that dude's hood or whatever. I don't even know if it was that dude's hood, but he was down there and he chose to play handball with the dude because of the comfortability factor. You know what I'm saying? Didn't feel like dude was a threat, whatever. You know what I'm saying? If you approach him respectfully, I wouldn't have did that, right? But I also might not have took off on dude, right? It might have been just a positive interaction. Oh, you from here? Oh, you went to the pen? What pen? All right, whatever. Boom. You know what I'm saying? That's it, right? So, like, it's geared towards whoever takes offense to it. You know what I'm saying? That's just life.
How do you move when you're down here? Like, you come to Southern California that much, and like, how on point do you feel like you got to be in this environment?
We've been here a few times.
But it's not like we don't respect where we're at, right? We know where we're at, right? We move accordingly.
But it's just like out in Northern California, like you gotta be prepared for anything.
And
at
it's
all
not
times,
all Southerners.
right? Yeah.
We got problems with, you know what I'm saying? So, but I mean, it's up north, it's not all. We got to worry about other group segments, is what I meant.
Yeah.
Right. But it's just always being conscious of your surroundings and just that high level of awareness anywhere you're at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, we had this kid, Lil Brazy, on here at one point who's like, you know what I'm talking about?
We know.
Yeah.
And that was funny because he started saying Southsiders basically, and he had just been talking about like hanging out with Lefty Gunplay or some shit, and I'm like,
We've seen that whole thing.
I'm like, I know you know they ain't gonna appreciate you saying that. He's like, no, that's for my ops in Utah. I'm like, yeah, all right. Like, good luck explaining that.
But he was a kid that didn't really understand the consequences of his actions or the dynamics of the whole gang culture, right? He was a little kid. Now, I know people say, well, he was, 15, 16, and we were 15, 16 at one time doing what we were doing, but he doesn't come from that, right? You know that. Everybody knows that. Like, that dude was just, you know, he was a little nerd that was trying to go viral.
That really liked J-Bo.
Yeah,
right.
He's the tiny white mini J-Bo, for sure.
Yeah. Right. I mean, yeah.
Minus the real world activities.
You know what it says more about? That dude's that kid is what he is, but it says more about the grown-ups that was with him, that brought him over here, that let him say that shit. You know what I'm saying? It says more about you.
Yeah.
Right? Because you should have said something. You should have been like, hey, bro.
I mean, we did check him, but we didn't like edit it out. We like included the footage of us telling him like, that's not a good idea. Like, you're going to run into a lot of issues running around.
That's really what it is, though. It's really about the grown-ups that was around him, because he's a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's just a goofy little kid. You know what I'm saying?
It's like there's multiple ways that his life story could go from here. And at least one of them is that he actually becomes the thing that he desperately wants to be, which is a gangster. You know, like maybe him getting beat up and punked by all these people and having the footage. Like, it's more than I could count. I swear I've seen at least like 4 videos of him.
For sure. Running.
Yeah.
All this stuff. Yeah.
But maybe that turns into him really being a gangster. But realistically, if he becomes a gangster, he's probably just going to go to prison for a long ass time, because he's going to have to wild out.
That's it, man. Yeah. And that's a failure of the adults around him too. That's a failure of society, right? Yeah. Because you see this fool getting victimized over and over and over again, and nobody's pulling this fool aside and being like, brother, this ain't for you. Yeah. This ain't for you, brother. You know what I'm saying? Just chill the out, go to school, homie. Become a plumber. You know what I mean?
Plumber would be a good idea.
Hell yeah.
So wait, okay, what how'd you end up having issues with Gold Toes?
So so Gold Toes and me was cool, right? We was cool when I was in when I first got out. My boy plugged me in with him, Blanco the Bully. You know who that is? Blanco the Bully.
I heard of the name.
You're gonna hear his name a lot in the coming months, right? But he plugged me in with him, and I distributed music through him, had some good conversations with him. And then he had posted this thing on Instagram about a movie he was supposedly doing, right? And in the movie, he's and so in this clip, I know it's not the real thing, right? It's a clip of a supposed movie he's doing, right? But he's in an attorney booth with SPM, right? In this clip, and I was like, this is from a biography of your life, right? Autobiography. Yeah, autobiography. Right? So I was like, what the is this, bro? And it's all just like this positive thing, like, hey man, you're the shit, and they can't hold you down forever, man, and all this shit, right? Dude's a child molester. Right? So I was like, damn, what the So I looked up his case, and because all I knew about was like internet stuff, looked up his case and figured out how to download the case from the court system in Texas. Had that whole bitch on my phone, read it for a while before I even talked to Gold Toes about it. And I was sitting in my car outside the tattoo shop having this conversation with Gold Toes, and he's just like, oh, you don't know it's a government conspiracy. Right. He had too much power in Texas, and right.
I heard people try to make this argument. Yeah.
And I was like, bro, no. Like, I don't know who the is saying that. That motherfucker got a child pregnant, first of all, regardless of how that circumstance happened. That's terrible, right? And then caught with a couple kids. One girl was touched during a sleepover.
Oh shit.
Right? There was like it's a
pattern.
It's a pattern, brother. And usually for this kind of stuff, what we know about it is where there's smoke, you know what I'm saying? If there's enough smoke, brother, there's probably a real problem. There's probably a fire somewhere.
Especially you been in prison that long. It's like hard and fast rules. So like we can't be flexible about this shit.
With me personally, it's once you're convicted of it, but there's not really too much of a conversation we can have afterwards, right? I'm not going to relitigate it, right, with you over coffee or something. Like we're going to, you're Shomo. You know what I'm saying? And at the very least, nobody's asking Gold Toast to like punch on him or do anything to him. Just why are you with this dude? And then if you're with him, why are you promoting this dude? Why are you? And then why is the scene you having this positive ass conversation and also how the did you get in an attorney booth in the feds, right? Or in the Texas, wherever the that dude's at? You know what I'm saying? How did you get in an attorney booth, right? It's not even the glass attorney booth. Like you was in it. Like how did you do that? I was 23 years in prison. I ain't never seen nobody, no executive, nobody except for an attorney or a cop get in an attorney booth with an inmate. That's just like not a real thing, right? So is that true? That like what part is, that's weird. The whole thing is weird to me, right? So I talked to him about it and he puts it off and he brushes it off and all this shit. And then he's like, oh yeah. He flies me out to Houston. I talked to him about it. We had this conversation about it, real light conversation about it. But like, he's like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm not going. I'm just gonna let him tell his story and all this shit." And then, I had another conversation with him about it, and then, he was gonna address it on a podcast, right? And he didn't. Right, you know, it was a full community podcast, right, where he was like, I'm just gonna let him tell his story. There was that long pause, and then he was like, I'm gonna let him tell his story, right? So he was like, damn, what the homie? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's weird as you know what I'm saying? Like, because when they think of this dude, they think of Northern Hispanics, right? And that's frustrating for Northern Hispanics. Right? Because it seems like if you're the guy, you know what I'm saying, then I don't want to be seen like that.
Right.
I don't want to be seen like
I kind of speaks on behalf of the whole community.
Well, that's how he portrays himself, right? Right?
Like people are gonna assume that a lot of the shit that he's saying is stuff that everybody else is on board with.
Right. So if you want to keep being seen like that, there can't really be too much of a conflict, and we're not talking about gangbanging, obviously. We're not talking about any of that stuff. What we're talking about is somebody who built his career on Northern Hispanics, right? And Northern Hispanic music. And it's like, if this is who you've been dealing with all this time, and the Northerners for the most part are like, man, SPM, chomos, right? And then come to find out, the dude he built that Black and Brown with, the label, was a fucking convicted rapist, and dude got out of prison and started Black and Brown. That's how that played out.
Who's this other dude?
Green. Sean Green.
Oh, okay.
He's the Black and Brown.
Okay.
So we didn't know. We found it by Joe Bob found it. Yeah. By a whole different. He was like, what the So that shit, man, yeah, I don't know all that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, damn.
Yeah, and nobody's saying, and then when we tell Toes, he's like, oh yeah, boo, boo, boo. We tell the homies that with him Tub, we're like, man, did you guys know about this? Like, this is weird as They're like, oh yeah, we knew, but nobody was saying that. Nobody was that, right? And so he wasn't like disassociating. He wasn't doing it. So we was like, all right, well, Go hang on to that then. You go do that over here. We gonna do this over here. You know what I'm saying?
It's kind of crazy because like I don't know firsthand, but I hear that like in Texas they still bump his music like
that's changing religiously. Though. Yeah, but that's changing though. Like people, there is a contingent of raza that they reach out to us all the time and are glad we're saying something. You know what I mean? And it's not about SPM. Fuck SPM. It's about the perception of Northern Hispanics, right? Of raza overall. That we don't accept that shit. That's weird as fuck. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Damn, so he still has albums coming out like pretty frequently. He does have 1.3 monthly listeners, so somebody's listening to him.
Yeah, I guess. But it's definitely dying. We just dropped something a couple days ago, right?
Was it a couple days ago? Yeah, he has like a song or a If Animals Could Talk album. Well, that's 2025, but still, yeah.
Oh, I just seen something a couple days ago. But yeah, so but it's definitely a lot less than it was for sure.
Yeah. You hear about Jenny 6ix9ine getting attacked by that girl because she was playing SPM?
Yeah, I mean, motherfuckers don't want to hear that shit. Yeah. Weird. I think it's a little much for girls, right, to attack. Right. But if they're like, man, turn that shit off, right? And then that could turn into something else. But motherfuckers ain't trying to listen to that shit.
Because if it was a modern rapper who got locked up for that, I mean, it would probably be a pretty like universal blacklist. It's only because he got locked up like 25 years ago that maybe people are kind of fuzzy about what his charges were and everything like that. Because I have heard like interviews with people that are around him or friends with him from back in the day who explain his charges in a way that makes you feel like, maybe he got a raw deal. Like when they're saying that like the girl that he knocked up was a stripper. So then you start thinking, well, shit, like if the stripper was underage,
he
like,
went to that girl's school all the time, was still with her.
Yeah, I feel like they're leaving out a lot of details because there's a lot of different people involved.
It's talking points, right? They take the talking points and then they run with that instead of going back and looking at the whole thing. And we see that all the time. People will clip something from us, like, bro, go look at the whole shit. Yeah. You're not looking at the whole thing. You're taking one small part and you're twisting it and you're creating a narrative. And that's what people were doing with SPM.
Right.
It's taking small clips and things that other people were saying instead of looking at the black and white, instead of going back and watching the trial, because the trial was recorded, right? They have that shit. You can go over in his own words. He said, I pick her up from school. Like, yeah, okay. Like, bro, if you probably go to strip clubs all the time.
No,
but have you been to strip clubs?
Yeah, of course.
If you got drunk at a strip club, right, and you slept with a stripper, and you found out she was 15, you got a lot to lose, don't you?
Yeah.
Right. What's the first thing you would do?
Man, I don't know. Like, do you just turn yourself into the cops? Do you go tell the cops?
I go beat the shit out the owner of that shit.
Okay, yeah.
And then put a lawsuit on him.
Yeah, lawsuit. There
like,
you go.
Bro,
okay.
you're making you're now I'm over here. I have to deal with all these consequences, legal and what otherwise, because of your actions.
Yeah, because
you did that. But I don't see no lawsuit to that strip club. I didn't see him go off and beat the shit out the owner of the strip club.
Yeah,
that would have been the first thing I did.
Because all right, you know how like people get out after doing these long ass sentences these days, and then they get exposed for snitching like a week later because it's like all this renewed interest in that person causes people to actually start digging into their paperwork, or people who have issues with them start. So you could imagine that if SPM did get out of prison like right now, that it would just unleash the floodgates of people making videos and really deciphering every last thing that he was ever charged with. They're gonna find girls who are like 40 years old now to talk about whatever they've been through, etc. So as much as like people in Texas and shit might be able to kind of turn a blind eye to it right now, I feel like if he gets out, that's probably gonna change very abruptly. But the problem
is that it runs up the numbers, and that's all happening. He's getting enriched. Right?
Yeah.
Like, so you got this profiting off of the shit that he did.
Right. And why promote the association? Right? If you know that there's that weird thing attached to him. Right? So that was my issue with Toes. Right? And then originally that's what initiated the issue. And then the stuff between the North and the South doing music.
Yeah, how do you feel about him sort of initiating that?
Well, attempting to do it, like it was, I talked to him a lot about that too. You know what I'm saying? I feel like everybody kind of told him the same thing, and it just never stopped and never stopped. And him doing business with them is his choice, right? But the promotion of forcing it, you know what I'm saying, trying to figure out ways to make it happen when everybody's telling you from both sides, man, that shit, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to do it. When nobody has to sacrifice this long-standing whatever issues they have in order to get plays. Doing it, why does it have to be the sacrifice of your morals and personal identity in order to, right? Isn't that super inauthentic? And the pressure that they get from somebody who they see as successful in a game, you know what I'm saying, to put all that stuff aside for the benefit of a couple more streams, and the tagline is crazy to me.
Do you think that holds back the overall like Mexican music community though? The fact that like dudes from down here can't really realistically tour up north easily and vice versa?
No, I don't think it does. I think other group segments have had the same kind of issue, you know what I'm saying? And nobody's telling Dirk to do right music with his ops, you know what I'm saying? It's only us. Why is it only us?
I guess it feels different because it's like BDs and GDs are like relatively small communities in like one city, whereas like in California, you're kind of talking about like huge groups of people that represent like either side of like almost the biggest state in the country.
Well, the third biggest state in the country.
Yeah, third biggest.
All that means is that you got built-in audiences, right? You got these built-in audiences that if you sacrifice who you basically are as an artist, right, for this little 5 minutes of, oh my God, a Northern did a song with a Southerner. Now the rest of the Northerners probably not going to listen to you. And if you're a Southerner, the rest of the Southerners probably not going to listen to you after. So you have that one song that's super popular, and then people kind of fall from you because they know you're really not, it's not really not in you.
Do you think anybody could initiate any sort of like peace at some point? Is there anybody who's got the juice to be able to bring people together?
Peace is one thing, right?
Right. And really with each other is another thing.
That's right. It's all just superficial. It's not real. You know what I'm saying? So any kind of that kind of stuff, music, whatever, is all just superficial. It's not real, right? And especially in the genre that we're in, where reality is celebrated, you know what I'm saying, and theoretically, right? And the fake stuff is, you know, even though we know, like, it's like the a lot of the times the fake actually win in this game. You know what I'm saying? The perception of it is that you got to stick to some kind of thing. If
you had to bet on one Norteno rapper becoming like a national star, who would you say would be the most likely?
Oh,
one? Only one?
Yeah. I would say, like, based on what? Like current
talent, musical ability,
and fan base, and
marketability. You know, whoever seems like they could maybe do it.
I think Tracks. I think brother right here, for real. But you know, somebody that you probably are a little more aware of. I ain't gonna lie. I think Jay Peasy. I think because he's so young and doing it like on a level technically higher than a lot of people 10 years older than him. You know what I'm saying? I think in the coming 5-6 years, he's gonna be at the top of a lot of lists.
Jay Peasy.
Okay. JPZ4, type it in.
Okay.
Yeah, he had issue with Tommy.
Oh, this guy. Yeah, I seen him. All right, cool. Yeah, I got to get him on there.
Yeah. I know you heard that one song where he talked about black scrap.
Yeah.
Right? But like if you dig into his shit a little bit and you just listen to like how he's coming, he's dope.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on like the Dropout YouTuber community? They have anything to offer, or is it just garbage from your perspective?
It's garbage from my perspective, and there's a reason. Like I could explain it. It's not just me being the on the active side of the stuff and them being on the dropout side of stuff, right? So if you take it at its face value that that these are guys that when they were supposed to do whatever they were supposed to do in that lifestyle and just got the out of it and did all that shit, then anything they do, they have a vested interest of you seeing them them having to combat how the world perceives them in the culture from the beginning. So
it's in their best interest to make Norteños as a whole kind of look bad, because that makes them look better. Right.
That's right. Like I'm biased, right? I always talk about that on the podcast. Like I don't hide it. Right, I'm biased, right? I let you know the bias, so everything can be judged from that perspective. Imay, on the other hand, is not biased. She doesn't have a dog in the fight. You know what I'm saying? So what she says can be seen a certain way. They're obviously biased, right? The difference is they pretend like they're not, right? They pretend like, oh, I don't care, I'm raza, all this shit, and it's all just for the sake of drawing you in and them being able to lie to you in a way that is more palatable for the broader. But like I don't care if a dropout watches my shit. I don't care if a dropout watches my shit, but they care if the actives do, right? Because they want to be seen a certain way.
But do you think that's kind of too much of a blanket statement? Because like I did an interview with was it 95J, 59J, whoops, and I felt like he had like a pretty measured perspective on the whole thing, and that like maybe his gangbanging career didn't work out, but it feels like his videos are pretty fair, and like he's not just like heaping scorn upon the community because shit didn't work out with him. Or would you say that maybe he's doing a good job pulling the wool over my eyes as a non-affiliate?
He's doing a good job.
Oh, okay.
That dude, not only did he not make it once, he didn't make it a couple of times, right? So, I mean, I don't really want to talk about dude,
right? We're not trying to promote any individual of those motherfuckers.
People are going to push their narrative, right? At all times. Anyone's going to push their narrative. Someone like you that doesn't have a dog in the fight, you're just like asking questions, and you don't give a shit either way, right?
Right. It's content.
It's hard for me to decode what's true or what's real.
Right, exactly. So
they have a perspective.
You got these other people that, he had a real issue with certain segments, and so you can tell that he has an issue by the words he uses and the content he promotes, right? Like there's really a grudge behind what he says, and like you don't have to be a rocket scientist, you don't have to be the smartest person in the world to see that, okay, yeah, even though he's saying one thing like, oh man, I don't have this, there really is that bias in there, and so I'm gonna try to push this certain thing so people think that I'm one way, when in all reality I'm biased as and yeah, I'm totally against these dudes. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Yeah, okay. So where did the static with Blue Devil originate?
He's a Southerner.
Okay.
But I mean, is it really static like that?
It's not static, bro.
It's not. It's all just internet talk. All right.
Internet.
Like, we don't know Blue Devil,
right? You don't appreciate his platform, generally speaking, though.
What do you mean? Do I appreciate
his content? You feel like it's bad?
He has a perspective, just like I have a perspective, right? So I understand what he's doing.
For sure. What besides your own, what Hispanic led podcasts do you actually spend time listening to, if any?
Probably Big Tone, AWAX, okay. You know what I'm saying? Big Mister, that's the only ones we would ever really promote.
For the Souls podcast.
For the Souls. We watch yours, brother. We check yours out.
Appreciate that,
yeah. For real. But I don't really watch too many podcasts overall. I be doing hella shit, brother. But anything he sends me, I'm gonna watch. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Anything that Moose is on, I'll check out. Moose Man.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Is it okay for Mexican gang members to snitch on non-Mexicans?
What?
People love to have this conversation.
No.
Okay.
No. Oh, I know what he's talking about.
Probably like the fifth person I asked about this.
Right,
And it's always a very enthusiastic no.
Are you talking about the Southerners telling on
blacks in prison type shit? Yeah,
bro. Yeah, I mean, it happened. But it happened during a time a lot more prevalently in the early of my doing time, right, than it did in the later years.
You mean it was considered all right early in your time?
I'm not gonna speak on their specific politics. I don't know, but it happened a lot in there.
So the general question of Mexicans, is it okay for Mexicans to tell, is no.
Right.
That's a general, and that's a general answer
currently.
But if you're speaking into group segments for who we affiliate with, no.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But there were times, perhaps in the past, where people might have been held to a different standard.
It seemed like Southerners. Yeah, it seemed like Southerners.
Okay.
But I don't know. What do I know?
Interesting. Okay. What the last one I wanted to ask about? Oh, okay. So you're working on an album with DJ Flip?
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
We looked at what was happening, and I seen this thing on DJ Flip where it was a lot of internet stuff, right? About it started with the Black Scrap being mad at him when he went to jail and dude didn't get his check. Right. And then made me dig into DJ Flip, right? And what he was. And then I seen the YouTube little shorts and shit about he's getting over on people is some kind of finesse or some whatever he's doing, right? I looked into 808 Cartel, you know what I'm saying? And was like, this is a dope platform, right? He's worked with Blueface, YG, a lot of major. He worked with a lot of suckers, but he worked with a lot of major. You know what I'm saying? And so I reached out to him, hit him up. Was like, man, what's going on? Let's lock something in. And he was like, and I was like, let's do it. And we did it. And he slid me a bunch of beats, and I knocked that shit out in a couple days. And that's initially what we came down here for.
Oh, really?
You know what I'm saying? I'm super excited about it. And it's called Dinner, and it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope.
Oh yeah.
Exclusively produced by DJ.
Exclusively produced by DJ Flip, 808 Cartel.
Nice. Yeah. So you guys actually went to a studio and stuff? It's not far from here, right?
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
You're going. Yeah. Oh, I think it's like a couple miles from here.
Yeah. So, yeah, and that's something that's going to be big because nobody from Northern California has actually, from Northern Hispanic, has done anything with DJ Flip.
Yeah.
So, probably going to change the game with that.
No, yeah, and I had a long conversation with him about it, right? And we came to an understanding, and he's a good dude. He's a cool motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And I had to switch some stuff up doing it, which was dope. You know what I'm saying? Forced me to get out of my box a little bit.
Well, you mean because his beats were different, or
low key? Yeah.
Okay.
Right, because we deal with certain kind of beats, but other stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it was a trip, and it's dope. Yeah, I can't wait to put that motherfucker out there and just see what it does. Just from a purely surface level, because of his association with so many Southsiders. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But yeah, it's gonna be a trip.
Oh, that's dope, man. So yeah, anything else you guys got going on? What else we need to know about in terms of what you guys have?
Oh, we got Trax's album dropping soon.
Mex Chris
is dropping soon. We out here with five Nine Bullies, Bust. He got a JP's. He got a bunch of stuff dropping. We also got a new show, Back to Rap podcast, Straight Lace Media.
Trying to expand.
My boy Eli. We got 2 channels, so we're trying to expand. We took over
Mudville Media.
Yeah, Mudville Media's page.
Have you heard of Mudville Media? How hip are you to what happens on northern internet.
I try to keep up. What was the Mudville Media sounds super familiar, but did you change the name? He
changed the name a couple times.
Active War Stories to Mudville Media to Moneyville Media to now he's Unliked Media.
Oh, okay.
And so we
bought his channel a while back, and now we're trying to make sure that homie's got a lot more platforms they could exercise their own shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's dope.
Yeah. Also, we working heavily with Jackin' for Life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Bo always got stuff. He's the one putting out all PQ stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, I mean, we work with a lot of artists in Northern California. We have group chats where just all the Northern California, not all, but a lot of Northern California artists go in and collaborate and figure out, what times we go to studios and whatnot, like Doggy Dog, Mad Dog and them.
Yeah.
Jackin' for Life, 5'9 Bullies, Calico Entertainment, just a whole bunch of artists that come together, Thuggy and Dirty Mob Entertainment. So, and these are fools from all over Northern California. So we have a conglomerate of artists that we, choose from. We also did the Jefes and Honchos album, which was like a compilation album of a lot of people that we deal with. So musically, we're doing a lot of stuff. A lot of things are coming to fruition now. And I know Jackin' for Life is about to put something out with PQ again, another video.
Yo, I should go crazy. Are you up on that shit?
No, what's it called?
You don't know
Cinco,
PQ?
Young Cinco we mess with. Yeah, everybody at the compound. So we got a lot of people we deal with.
Yeah.
PQ 3300?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's doing a lot of shit.
Shit to check out. All right. Okay. Oh, okay. He had well, ironically, I saw his War in Cali video that came out 8 months ago, and okay, well, I haven't listened to the music yet, but
yeah, he's dope. He's dope. That's TYS's homie.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, we're doing that, and we're pushing the podcast. We're trying to push the Northern California, like all Northern California artists as much as we can. So you see this, anybody want to get down on the podcast, man? Let us know. You know what I mean? As long as you pushing yourself, we'll help you push too.
That's what's up.
You know what I mean?
Tap in. Sure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Hey, it's a crazy story. I'm glad that you're a free man and out here able to enjoy your days, because it's a beautiful thing considering that you could easily have still been incarcerated right now.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to my boy Joe Bob, man, who just had a big thing happen in Salinas. You know what I mean? Just got riding in Salinas for a minute, man. But shout out to Joe Bob, man. Love you, brother.
Yeah.
For sure. Anybody you want to shout out? Anything else we need to know about?
Everybody he says, stand on it. It's love.
For sure. Appreciate you guys. Everybody go check out the No Paperwork podcast. If you got some time, check out BFD's music.
Yes, sir.
And shout out to everybody who watched this. No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. Like, comment, and subscribe for sure. We'll be reading all the comments. Shout out to the members. Appreciate you guys.
Boom.
Yeah, peace.
Boom.